Early morning news at 7:30. Reports continue to come in on the effects of tornadoes across the Midwest. Red Cross and National Guard emergency services are being brought in to help families with temporary shelter, and emergency centers are responding to the victims of this natural disaster. In international news, earthquakes have again shaken Central America and disrupted communications. Early reports tell of fires and heavy tolls and lives lost. Authorities will not confirm reports of 300 missing in the wake of floods.
You know, it's really becoming an ordeal just listening to the news nowadays. Seems like everywhere you turn, there's a tragedy.
It's one shortage or crisis after another.
It's not just that the problems are there, it's that you feel so damned helpless about doing anything about them.
You really care about people, you know, whether they're in this country or anywhere in the world. Listen, we got lots of problems right here in this city, not to mention all across the country. Kids with incurable diseases, or old people with nowhere to go. Young people whose lives have been absolutely wasted on drugs.
That's what's so tough about it, really. Having your own problems and still having a conscience about helping others. It's just that most of us don't know where to start, that's all. They say we're making progress, but I don't know. I can remember when I was a kid, we were poor. I mean, we were really poor.
I can remember when I was a kid.
Standing in line, waiting for jobs that don't exist. But what are you going to do when you have kids to feed?
We're not the only people with kids. You're not the only one without a job. You think I like seeing the kids with no place to play except in the streets?
Well, where's Kenny now? He should be home here.
I don't know.
Can't you take care of these kids?
I guess you wish we never had any kids.
Will you stop putting words in my mouth? Look, shut up and get out of here and let me alone, will you?
Okay, we won't talk about it, and that way all our problems will go away. Maybe that's what I ought to do. Just go away. Take the kids and go away, and you won't have to worry about feeding any of us.
Hey, Ken, where have you been this morning? You look like you're a million miles away.
Not a million miles. Just 30 years.
Hi, Don. Hey, Ken, glad I caught you. Listen, I want to talk to you about something. You got a minute?
Sure. What's on your mind?
Well, two things, actually. I want to explain the combined federal campaign to you, and I want to ask you if you'll help me with it.
Well, we're both early. Let's get some coffee.
Okay. Listen, that may be the key, man.
Gas lines taught me patience more than anything else. 2 coffees?
I'll get it.
Thanks.
It's the one campaign that's authorized to reach all of the federal employees. Now, that's because it's represented by all the major agencies. United Way, International Service Agency, the National Health Agency. Here's a brochure that tells you all about it.
Okay.
As key man, it's my job to explain the program and ask you to make a pledge.
You mean I make one pledge for the whole year?
Yeah, it's really easy. You can do it through the payroll deduction, which takes care of everything at once, man.
Yeah, I buy the idea of giving once.
Yeah, it's more economical, too. I mean, through this campaign, more of the dollars you give go directly to helping people. I mean, directly.
And helping people is what this thing's all about, right?
Right, exactly.
Don, there's a lot of agencies here. How much am I expected to give?
Well, what you give is up to you. But we'd like for everybody to give their fair share.
Fair share?
Right. There's a scale there, right, to tell you what your fair share would be based on what you make. It's a guide, see? And you look at these agencies over here, and you make a choice.
You know, I didn't realize how many things were being done through this campaign.
Well, it's hard to know all the facts about every agency. But your one fair share pledge, you can help them all. If there's a special agency, a particular one that interests you, you can designate to them.
I guess you need everybody's pledge to make you go, huh?
Well, it isn't just making the goal, Ken. It's the people who are helped that's important.
What kind of people?
What kind of people? Well, you hear a lot about kids being helped and old people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this program helps families when hard times hit. That's what you're really giving to. Take this here, for instance, an adoption agency, right? Now, you know how hard it is for a couple wanting a child that never comes? And can you imagine what it's like for the child, alone in the world, waiting for someone to love him?
Waiting for someone to love him. Little boy lost. We wanted a child so bad. In search of a little boy found. I'll never forget how we felt when Rita and I adopted Billy. Wandering, stumbling. We'd waited so long, and then finally, after all the interviews and the meetings we thought would never end, we could take him home. What's on the tip? Those first years were the happiest years of our lives. Billy not only brought us his love, but he gave us a chance to love him. Why are you blind? That was a great time. To all you ever a time when I thought nothing could go wrong. Really are, nearly are.
I don't know if you've ever had any of these problems in your family, Ken, but they're tough problems, like alcoholism, drugs, mental illness. They can hit anybody, and when they do, you, like anybody else, will say, why did it happen to me?
We always think that the worst things happen to somebody else, but it isn't always the other guy. This time, it was me. There I was, flat on my back. I knew I'd be confined to a wheelchair, probably for months. It was a long road ahead. Thank God for new techniques in surgery, new breakthroughs in medical research. They gave me hope, a chance. It wasn't just being sick that got me. It was feeling helpless.
Rita, did you get that toy? Did you get that kite for Billy?
Honey, I haven't had time.
You know how important that thing is to him. You know how long he's been asking for that silly toy?
But I haven't had time to take him out.
You didn't have time to take him out because you're stuck here with me, isn't that what you're saying?
You said it, Ken. I didn't. I can't do everything.
I can't do anything. Look at me. I can't even make it as a father. He'd have been better off if we'd never adopted him in the first place.
Oh, my God, he hurt you. Now see what you've done. Billy! 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 Billy!
Billy? 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 Billy, I didn't mean what I said, son. I'm sorry, Billy. Now, you forget what I said, son. I'm sorry. Come here, Billy. I want you to forget what I said. I didn't mean that, son.
Billy, look at me. Will you forgive me? Will you forgive me? I guess that's when I really started back. And because there were agencies in our community, I got the help I needed. Rita and I saw a counselor. And I got the rehabilitation I needed, too.
Let's go.
In time, we were a family again, the three of us. We made it all the way back.
You know, if it weren't for the help of these voluntary agencies that do so much, a lot of people would be helpless. I'm serious. There isn't one of them on this list that isn't worthy. I guess the important thing to remember is that while you may not need any of these agencies today, someday it could be you. Wow. Well, thanks a lot, man. I wish everybody was as easily convinced as you are. Tell me something. Have you been putting me on? I mean, sitting there listening to me ramble on?
A little bit, maybe. See, I know about the CFC. I've had personal experience. I don't think you have to sell this campaign to anybody, really. Just give them the facts. They'll buy it.
You've done more than your fair share, and I appreciate it. It's a good start. Thanks.
Well, I'm taking up more than my fair share of your time. You got a big job to do.
You forgot something.
Hi. Hi. How did it go today, Ken?
Pretty good. I found an answer.
To what?
Well, you remember today we were talking about how many people in the world need help and how we all feel so helpless and everything. Well, Don Butler talked to me about the combined federal campaign, and I began to see that giving is one way that we, and it's an easy way, that we can really do something. See, when we give, we're really there when a kid's hungry, or when an old person is alone and afraid, and we're doing something about drugs and the problem of alcoholism, and we're holding families together when times get hard. You know, the idea of giving is built into this nation. We don't do it because it's a law that says we have to. We do it because we care about people. It may be a long journey to the place where everything's right in this nation. And I know it starts right here, inside each one of us. I guess giving to the CFC is a little like giving back to others a little bit of the great love that's been given to us all.
You go wandering, stumbling, tumbling round. Hey, Mom, Dad's out. When will you find?
Hello, son. How you doing?
What's on the tip
Dad, can we play
of your mind?
I think that can be arranged.
Good, girl. How are you?
Why are you blind?
You know something?
To all you ever were, never were, really are, nearly are, little boy blue. Don't let your little sheep roam. It's time, come blow your horn, meet the morn, look and see, can you be far?